The Walt Disney Company has invested $100 billion estimated into their streaming business, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. And yet, after all Bob Iger did, major financial analysts are now saying, hey, Disney, it's time to bid farewell to streaming entirely. The whole thing is a flop. It's a loss. There's no way out of this. Today, we'll weigh in and decide, is it time for Disney to cut ties with Disney Plus? You know, you might be saying, Pro, how would they even get rid of Disney Plus? What would they do? Well, Netflix, they might be calling you and saying, can we put our stuff back over here again? Now, they'll never get rid of Disney Plus entirely, but we've got a panel ready to go, and you won't believe how badly the Disney stock has suffered because of streaming. It's not the kind of thing that you just be dreaming up. No, this is the sort of thing now major financial analysts are saying needs to be fixed, and fixed by Josh D'Amaro, new CEO, ASAP. The dream to stream is not coming true for Disney. The Hollywood Reporter has this one from Alex Weprin, and it says, should Disney exit the streaming business? Wells Fargo analyst Stephen Cahill argues in a new research note that focusing on IP and experiences could raise Disney's stock price by 40%. And consider, this is after they've spent $100 billion, not million, billion dollars on investing in streaming. It says the Walt Disney Company, despite being the undisputed leader among the legacy entertainment companies, maybe, has been dealing with a stock price that has remained stubbornly flat over the last 16. Sorry, it says 5 years. I was supposed to say 5 years. It's not 5 years. That's despite Disney's status in the streaming wars seemingly secured. Oh, really? Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, and the rest are fighting for a piece, even as most observers say that Netflix and Disney are the only subscription players with the scale to compete already. But one Wall Street analyst, Wells Fargo's Stephen Cahill, is asking a provocative question in a research note released Sunday. What if the key to unlocking Disney's stock price is exiting the streaming business? Now, this goes on to talk about it could increase Disney's value by 40%, which is to say, how bad must streaming be? And all of these paragraphs where they go on and they talk about, well, you know, they're up there. They're big kahuna. They're doing so darn good. It's so avant-garde for what this analyst is saying. That's all just to say that Hollywood didn't understand this and Wall Street does. You've got Paramount, of course, out there getting ready to make their big changes. But Paramount may be merging their offering with Warner Brothers in streaming. That's going to be something that takes on Disney. You've got the other stuff going on right now where YouTube is just absolutely leaving all of these streamers in the dust. Mm-hmm. And now Disney has had to merge their Disney Plus, their Hulu, their ESPN all together just to get 5% market share. So if you look down here, what we're talking about, Paramount is at 2.1. If they combine with Warner Brothers Discovery after the merger, they're going to be right there with Disney. Roku and Tubi are both at Disney's heels. And Disney, with everything added together, is still trailing Netflix by 7.8. But you'll notice that part of what they say is the subscriber-only model. Well, that's because YouTube is just annihilating everybody. Disney, with all its streaming services combined together, gets to 5%. YouTube, with just the TV app alone, which I dare say is a massive minority of where traffic comes to YouTube, YouTube is at 13.4%. Streaming now accounts for the vast majority of what TVs are being used for. It's not even close to anything else. Streaming is king, and YouTube is king of that. Disney, combining everything they have and $100 billion of business together, has 5% market share. Jonas, I want to go to you. You study this kind of stuff. You've paid close attention to it. Walk us through, do you believe that Disney dropping Disney Plus would actually give them this kind of a stock increase that they badly need?
You know, it's complicated. I think, first of all, if they did do it, they would have to do it as a repudiation of Bob Iger. And I don't think that they'll do that. That $96 stock price is a shame considering how much money that they have spent in order to get down to that level. So let me just show this real quick, Jonas, because they said the last 5 years. We are in 2026, obviously, the time of this recording, $96. The Disney company made their way up to $96 the last time, and I'm zoomed out here. Let me see if I can hit it. It's sometime January, February of 2015. The Disney company has been here for 11 years. And if we were just to track inflation, like this company is losing ground badly over the last 11 years. Right. And that's, there's so many things that they've taken on, let alone the $70 billion purchase of Fox that disappeared from their market capitalization. They've combined with another company, and that other company has disappeared essentially on top of this. And then they've lost value on top of that. So the thing that I ended up talking about online this evening with somebody is, do you really think they would do this? Would they actually shut down Disney Plus? And I think they would, but they wouldn't say that they shut down Disney Plus. It would be the kind of thing where they could easily say, okay, we're going to rent out some content. They would license it to Netflix, and they would make more money selling the first run of whatever they have from the theaters to Netflix or to Amazon Prime. Amazon is $1 trillion company as opposed to this paltry $166 billion Disney company. So that's how Illumination makes their money with the Minions. First of all, they keep their costs in line. And the second is they are already getting a $50 million check per movie from these other streamers. And Valiant Renegade only brings that up 8 times per live stream. So if they were to actually give up on Disney Plus as this is the place where you watch Disney content, they could allow that service to be profitable for what it is by allowing their material to make money on other platforms, because Disney Plus is not going to make its money back for another 10 years. And the only reason they're talking about Disney Plus being profitable right now is because they shimmied off the nameplate Disney Plus and they stuck it in front of the Hulu name and said, oh, see this thing that's this parade that's already in motion. We're going to put Bob Iger right in front of it and pretend that he's the Grand Marshal.
And how much did they pay to get a hold of Hulu?
Minimum $30 billion. So
heck of an investment.
Yeah, that's not counting content costs. That's a good portion of the Fox deal, and also the deal with NBC Universal. So unbelievable amounts of money in order to try to make this thing work.
So Lauren, people often say, when are we going to find, when is it going to come to light what Star Wars and Marvel and the destruction of these franchises, when is it going to come to light like this actually damaged Disney, or does it just not matter? And I think this is the story that proves this out, because had Disney kept Star Wars as a vibrant franchise, had they kept Marvel as something people were very excited about, the golden goose of Disney, and had they kept their kids' content like, Lightyear and Strange World away from controversy, I think Disney Plus right now would be the dominant leading service in the marketplace. And instead, the fact that nobody cares about Star Wars, the fact that nobody cares about the MCU is why they now have analysts saying, screw this part of your business, drop it. And I would say on top of that, by the way, that if they don't have streaming, I'm not convinced that the box office and streaming are so separate now, because a lot of times what they're doing is they're making these movies really to go on streaming later and try to convince people to hold on to Disney Plus. They're a theme park company at that point if you strip away streaming. So Lauren, your thoughts on the idea that this is where we finally see the damage that destroying these brands has done to Disney?
I actually kind of disagree with your premise. I don't think under any universe that Disney Plus was going to be the driver of revenue that they thought it was. And part of that is because they simply don't have enough content. You need a massive amount of content in order to keep people subscribed. Content that they want to see, by the way. And I see a super chat from Cyrano that's out there that's saying, I need to keep Disney Plus. I lost my VHS of the original That Darn Cat, and Disney won't release it from the vault. Shame. I think that's what they were counting on. They thought that this vault strategy was brilliant because they used to not release their stuff on physical except for on a regular cycle. And I think they thought that's how streaming was going to work. But the way streaming works is people subscribe to the service, watch what they want to watch, and then cancel. And you can't keep up with that pace. Honestly, what they need to do is exactly what Jonas said. They need to be licensing their content up to additional streamers, making money off of that, and bring back the physical media. Because when they were releasing things from the vault in the past, you were making a purchase, and then you could watch it whenever you wanted. That was the value proposition. That's not what Disney Plus is giving you.
So this is actually exactly what the investor is calling for. It says, quote, we don't think the box office experiences or brand value would suffer if the library were on a competing global streamer, aka Netflix. Investors would benefit from a de-risked business model with Disney focused purely on content versus distribution. Josh tomorrow may be considering all options. Well, now that's interesting that they're going ahead and making the allegation that this is on the table for Disney. That's very interesting to me. But we've said for a long time, Paul, that if Disney had just said, hey, Netflix, we'll give you all of our stuff. Here's the price for it. It's a lot. We want our own blade in Netflix, Disney on Netflix. There's no cost, like $100 billion completely wasted when it could have been just free money. Total free. You can reverse that. It's like a $50 billion profit for nothing versus $100 billion investment for nothing. It's crazy.
Well, I remember very clearly when all the Disney stuff was on Netflix and it worked really well. And then suddenly it got pulled from Netflix, and that on its own was not enough to subscribe to Disney Plus. It was pretty parched. They ran into a big problem in that they were shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic when they would buy one of their unsuccessful movies. And then, so the movie side of the business got a bit of a upward tick.
Made it look like it was profitable.
Looked like it was profitable, but then it was shoved into Disney Plus.
This hand given to this hand, and pretending that you
it's all
got
Disney.
paid.
Even though they're probably separated as business units, then suddenly Disney Plus was saddled with a giant debt just to make the movie side of things look good. I would love if they would completely get rid of Disney Plus. I think the problem right now is, what do they do with Fox? I've actually enjoyed being able to watch the Fox stuff on Disney Plus, to tell you the truth. They have a fantastic library, and there's some great movies and TV shows there that I watch fairly regularly. What do they do with Fox? Does anyone there on the panel know?
I think that they continue to let Hulu do its thing, because Hulu is the only reason that Disney Plus looks profitable right now.
Oh yeah,
and
it's a bloodbath without it.
They can do a free tier of Hulu, and I think they probably could do another brand or something like that.
Here in Canada, by subscribing to Disney Plus, I get Hulu. Right. What's it like in the States? Is it still separate?
They allow you, if you subscribe to it's getting more complicated. I think if you subscribe to Disney Plus, you also get Hulu, but you can buy Hulu on its own, because in Europe right now, if you get Disney Plus, it's the same streaming service on both sides and makes half the money. Are you recommending bring Hulu back to its former glory, get rid of Disney Plus entirely, put all the Disney shows on Netflix and put all the Fox shows on Hulu? I would say, I think
Which is what it was. At the very beginning of Hulu, it was NBC and Fox. They were the first on.
Right. And Warner Brothers had a very small share in all of that. It was an excellent arrangement. Fantastic.
It was actually a moneymaker.
Right. And Jason Kilar, who later went on to be the CEO of Warner Brothers, he had a great system there. And unfortunately, when he did it to movies, he ended up causing the downfall of the entire industry. What I've often suggested is Hulu needs to be the main tier, and Disney, the brand, needs to be the premium. Yes, you pay this much money to get the Disney content, and then they can have their excuse for saying you only get this if you pay way too much for it. But having it as its own streaming service, here's the dirty secret about Disney Plus right now. Disney Plus on its own, without Hulu, the only way that really got even close to profitable is they slowed the content down to a slow drip to where they were only spending a few $100 million a quarter on content for Disney Plus. And then combining it with Hulu and giving it away for free and being able to use these cable deals to say, this is how much we made from this one, we're going to assign that to Disney Plus. So if they're selling that content elsewhere, by the way, that Netflix deal was $350 million a year in 2012. Just on its own, they can make more money off of that now. So they can get a much better figure in 2026 for that Disney content, especially if it includes the Fox content that is more marketable than some of the more recent Star Wars stuff.
I think there's a bigger issue in that Hollywood has really made it more difficult for the consumer to enjoy and get to all this stuff.
Mhm.
And I haven't heard any kind of inklings from them as to just what their plan is. Ideally, my idea that they need to get rid of Peacock, move it to Hulu, get rid of Paramount Plus, move it to Hulu. Get all the networks, their streaming stuff, move it to Hulu. And they need to create one app which will include the live broadcast version of NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox. So you're not going from one app to another. Yes, you can give them each an identity within the app and just get out of the cable contract.
Yeah.
And both those things would make, and then you add Netflix to the mix. We've got an ideal universe. That's the way it should work.
Right. We were all calling for so long for a la carte cable, and that's essentially what we have now is okay, this company owns its collection of channels. This company owns its collection of channels. If you want all of them at the same time, you could do Hulu with live TV, which I guess is Fubo now, which it wasn't Disney. It's funny that monopoly trial went away when Disney bought a smaller company in order to reduce competition.
But the problem is the app. It's the apps. It's not like cable. Cable, you can actually sit your ass on the couch and just go up, 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 up. You can't do that with apps. Apps, you got to go, okay, I'm going to log into Peacock. Now I'm going to log out of Peacock. Now I'm going to go to, it's unbelievably consumer unfriendly.
Yep, I agree. And it's the mindlessness too, because I was listening to a podcast the other day about different levels of entertainment. And one of the arguments was when people get home after a hard day of work, their mental capacity is diminished. So whereas they might be interested in something that's really formidable earlier in the day, by the end of the day, they're ready for, just give me a sitcom, right? I'm not trying to make fun of sitcoms or denigrate them. I'm saying like, it's not heavy lifting mentally.
Nope.
And I think what you're talking about is the same thing, the same idea. People are ready to just veg out. Let me sit down and just put colors on the screen and make me laugh. That's it.
Right. They don't want to be challenged by this. And there's obviously we have a lot of people on this panel that are actually a fan of the format.
Yeah.
But what I think, honestly, one of the best things that Josh D'Amaro could do right now is stop trying to act like Disney Plus is the greatest thing that Bob Iger ever did for the company, when it is, in fact, actively one of the worst things that has ever happened to the entire industry.
$100 billion black hole.
$6 a month for access to the vault or whatever amount you want to charge for that, and put all this stuff where they were trying to be HBO. Sure, charge whatever money you think is appropriate for that. But the whole focus on Disney Plus has been the death knell of this company. It has been Bob Iger's ABC reverse takeover of Disney. ABC lives on as the actual company here, even though it's Disney that's on the stock ticker. Bob Iger came in and he took over the company and he turned it into something soulless, lifeless, and coastal elite. And this is all you have left is a TV organization that has grown outside of its original purpose to serve the Disney brand, when it is very obviously the other thing. So yes, get rid of Disney Plus, focus on theme parks, and just let everybody have a good time again.
Andy, I'm going to give you the final word, and I want to intro it to you this way. It feels a little bit like Scooby-Doo, and we could have got away with it if it weren't for those darn, kids. And in this case, part of the value that they pitched for Disney Plus was people will come here for Marvel, people will come here for Star Wars, but this came on the heels of them transforming those franchises into sort of, a woke model. And that broke Disney Plus. I think it could have worked if they had given us Luke Skywalker as a hero. I think it could have worked if they had given us Marvel characters that we could get behind, and they didn't feminize everything and do the mantle strategy. I think they sabotaged themselves. What say you?
So I'm beginning to see a flaw in my logic. So my free dog poop sign in my backyard didn't generate much business. Maybe a lemonade stand would have done better. Maybe something people actually wanted. Yeah, that might be something. And I find it kind
what
of
if
ironic.
they get it for free with their cable subscription?
Chocolate lemonade. Come get your chocolate lemonade. Oh, wait. No, that's not
Kind
going
of
to work
ironic that the company that made Pirates of the Caribbean are actually driving people to piracy.
That is true. Too true. Absolutely. So kick this stuff over to Netflix, and they're not going to get rid of Disney Plus completely, but turn it into something else. Turn it into something premium. Keep Hulu and send a lot of Disney stuff over there to somewhere it's going to make money for you. That's the plan for Disney. Analysts now demanding, hey, get us away from this $100 billion busted up lemonade stand. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the video today. It's such a pleasure every time we get to endeavor together, explaining entertainment and keeping you ahead of the culture curve. If you would be so kind, folks, swerve on down to that like button wherever you may find it and click it, please. It helps us. And you are the gigawatts that send us far and wide across the fruited plains of YouTube. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.